Last winter, my girlfriend Emily and I rented a small cabin in upstate New York for a weekend getaway. We both needed a break, from work, from people, from city noise. The listing said it was isolated, right on the edge of a forest. No neighbors, no Wi-Fi, just quiet. Exactly what we thought we wanted. We got there on a Friday night. It was already dark by the time we arrived, and the road leading up to the place was just a single narrow strip of cracked asphalt. No lights. No signs. Just woods. Honestly, it already felt a little sketchy. The cabin itself was small but cozy. Rustic. Fireplace, creaky wood floors, and this weird smell that we figured was just the age of the place. Nothing crazy. We unpacked, made some drinks, and ended up falling asleep on the couch watching a movie. That night, something woke me up around 3 a.m. It was this slow, scraping noise, like nails against wood. I sat up and realized it was coming from inside the wall behind the couch. Emily was still asleep, so I didn't say anything. I just listened. Scrape. Scrape. Then it stopped. I assumed it was a mouse or some animal. It's a cabin in the woods, right? The next day, everything was normal. We went hiking, came back, made dinner. But later that night, it started again. Only this time, the scraping was louder, and it was moving. We could hear it traveling through the walls. From behind the couch, into the hallway, then behind the bedroom wall. Like someone, or something, was crawling through the insulation. Emily was creeped out. I tried to play it down, but when we both heard what sounded like whispering coming from the air vent, she looked at me with this pale, frozen expression and said, "That's not an animal." We didn't sleep much that night. Around 5 a.m., we both finally dozed off. But then Emily jolted me awake, grabbing my arm and whispering frantically, "Someone's in the house." I sat up. I didn't hear anything at first, then I noticed it. The front door was wide open. Just slowly swaying in the cold air. And across the floor, muddy footprints. Bare feet. Leading in, but not out. I grabbed the flashlight and checked every corner, every closet, the crawlspace. No one. But the attic had a pull-down ladder, and when I looked up into it, I swear I heard breathing. We didn't wait to find out. We packed our stuff in under 2 minutes and left before the sun was fully up. I reported it to the rental company later, and they claimed it must have been squatters, maybe someone hiding in the attic between guests. But that doesn't explain the voices, the scraping inside the walls, or how someone got in without tripping the lock or breaking a window. Emily still has nightmares about it. And the worst part? A week later, she got a text from an unknown number that just said, "You left the door open. I liked watching you sleep." The 911 call was coming from the basement, but we didn't know we had 1 inch. This happened in the summer of 2022. Me and 2 of my closest friends, Zach and Marcus, had rented a cheap house off Airbnb for a weekend near Lake Tahoe. It was last minute, and the place looked kind of run down in the pictures, peeling paint, weird layout, furniture that hadn't been updated since the 90s. But it was cheap, and we figured, who cares? It's just 3 guys looking to get away. The first night was fine. We drank, played cards, passed out around 1 a.m. But on the second night, something felt off. Around midnight, we started hearing this high-pitched buzzing sound from down the hall. Not loud, but sharp, like an old phone line. We followed the noise, and Zach opened a hallway closet. Inside was this ancient-looking landline phone, mounted to the wall. It was off the hook. None of us had touched it. We laughed it off and hung it back up. 15 minutes later, someone knocked on the door. Hard. 2 sheriff's deputies stood outside. They said they were responding to a 911 call, a hang-up, traced to our address. We told them none of us had made a call. We even showed them our phones. Then one of the deputies asked if there was anyone else in the house. We told him no. He said dispatch told them the call came from a landline. The same one we had just found in the closet. The second deputy asked to walk through the house. We agreed. He made it to the laundry area, then stopped, pointing at the corner near the water heater. There was a small wooden door. We hadn't even noticed it. He asked, "Can you open the basement?" We told him we didn't have a basement. He pointed again. "That's a basement door." Zach told him we didn't have a key, it was locked and looked like it hadn't been opened in years. The deputy radioed something in, and a few minutes later, got permission to force the door open. Behind it was a staircase leading down into a pitch-black crawlspace. It wasn't a finished basement. Just dirt floors, wood beams, and cold air. They found a mattress. Some food wrappers. Old clothes. Like someone had been living down there. And in the middle of the floor, a burner phone. The screen was still on. It was in an active call with 911. Call time, 11 minutes. That call was happening while we were upstairs, with no idea someone was underneath us. They searched the crawlspace. No one was there. No prints, no sign of an exit. Whoever was there, they were gone. We left that night and never went back. The Airbnb listing was taken down 2 days later. A week after, Marcus got a copy of the 911 call through a request. The voice on the line was a man whispering. He said, "They don't know I'm here. Please come before I do something bad." Then, static. We still don't know who he was. Or if he ever left. I live in a small suburban town in Michigan. Nothing ever really happens around here, quiet neighbors, woods at the edge of every yard, and that eerie kind of silence at night that makes even the wind sound threatening. This happened just last fall. I was home alone for the weekend while my parents visited my sister at college. I'm 19, so it wasn't a big deal. I was planning on just gaming late and watching horror movies. Ironically fitting, I guess. It was around 2 a.m. when I paused my game and went to get a snack from the kitchen. That's when I first noticed it, the motion sensor light in the backyard turned on. I figured it was an animal. We get raccoons and deer sometimes. But then I realized something weird. The light stayed on. For minutes. Way longer than it usually does. Curious, I flicked off the kitchen lights to look outside. I didn't see anything at first. Just the yard lit up, the swing set barely moving in the breeze. But then, dead center, at the edge of the woods, I saw it. Someone was standing just beyond the tree line. Not moving. Not walking. Just standing. They weren't holding a flashlight or phone, they were just facing the house. My heart was in my throat. I ducked down instinctively, still watching. I tried to rationalize, maybe a neighbor. A lost hiker. But who the hell hikes at 2 a.m. in a neighborhood? After a minute or two, I crawled to the living room to grab my phone and call the cops. That's when I heard 3 soft knocks on the back sliding door. Not loud. Almost polite. I froze. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just sat there, holding my breath. The knocks came again. 3 soft, deliberate taps. I wanted to run but didn't want to make a sound. I slowly crept back toward the kitchen and peeked around the corner. There was a hand on the glass. Just a hand. Pale, with long fingers, pressed against the sliding door. The person's face was still out of view, hidden behind the door frame. I swear, the hand started slowly sliding down the glass, making this awful squeaking sound. That's when I lost it. I bolted upstairs, locked my bedroom door, and called 911. It felt like it took hours for the cops to arrive, but they eventually did a sweep of the property. Whoever it was, they were gone. No footprints. No handprint. Nothing on the cameras either, just static for the 5 minutes leading up to and after the incident. The cop chalked it up to a prank, but I know what I saw. I haven't stayed in the house alone since. And I still can't sleep if I see the motion light flick on at night.